Hi, I'm Dave Monty. Welcome to my video series, Everything Villages. Today I am going to do a market update. It is November 2024. I am also going to briefly cover the National Association of Realtors lawsuit, so stay tuned. As always, a little bit of housekeeping. If you like this video, please hit like. If you like my video series, please subscribe. Both those actions help these videos reach more people, and I greatly appreciate it. Also, if you'd like a copy of my free 42-page guide, Buying and Selling a Home in the Villages, or a copy of my nifty cost of living calculator / budgeting tool, you can email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com, and I'll send you out a copy. Also, I do have other videos, and I'm going to point some of these out. And I've been threatening for about a year now to update some of these, but I've just been ridiculously busy, which is a good problem to have. And, but I still have pricing part 1 and 2. I recently did update, some of the pricing. Some of the numbers might be a little bit old, but it gives you a sense of the big things that will affect pricing, like location, it does have stucco or not, golf cart garage views, lanais, etc. Biggest bang for your buck, where we talk about helping you update homes, buying something that needs a little bit of love and updating it for you. A couple tutorials on my cost of living calculator, understanding the 2 different markets. There's a bunch of videos out there, so please check those out. A little bit of upfront summary. This is what we're going to cover. Interest rates are stable, if not ticking down slightly. Homes that need updating are staying on the market much longer, and we'll talk about that just briefly. Pricing has remained fairly consistent. It's been on average ticking down, and we'll talk about why the average is ticking down, and some things are going up and other things are going down. Sellers have sort of gotten the memo finally. Traditionally, they've been putting way too high prices on their homes, and the homes have been sitting on the market longer. Now that the market has shifted a little bit here, we're seeing sellers starting to put more realistic pricing on it, and I'll again show you that. National Association of Realtors lawsuit. I'm going to get into a few details. I'm probably going to do another video which is much more detailed, but I'm going to hit the high notes of this. Or the prevailing activity here in the Villages has been business as usual, with a lot more complexity on the back end for the realtors. And again, we'll discuss that. Months of inventory. If you see my videos or all these updates and you know exactly what this is, if you're new to my channel, months of inventory is one of the best indicators to determine what type of market we're in. A balanced market is 6 months. Anything under 6 months is still a seller's market. Right now, it's starting to feel a little bit more like a buyer's market as we're creeping up to that 6 months. How you arrive at this number is you take the number of homes that are currently on the market. As of this morning, there's 526. And then you average the last 3 months of how fast homes are selling, and we're selling about 122 homes per month. You divide those number out, and it's just, if no other homes came on the market and every one of these were sold, it would take about 4.3 months to exhaust the inventory. I get asked this quite a bit. Well, you didn't factor in the Villages inventory. Well, the Villages, if I factor in the Villages inventory, which right now is about 700 and something, the reason they have more is because the newest areas of the Villages, people are buying and turning around and selling them very quickly. They're just not kind of liking the location. So there's a big percentage of newer homes that are on the market right now. If we were to add the Villages number to this, we'd be at about 1,200 homes. But they're also selling a number of homes. And this might tick up to about 300, so the number would be about the same. So just in general, when I show you what's going on in the MLS, pretty much what's going on the VLS side, the Villages Listing Service, is going to mirror what's going on the MLS. All right, months of inventory. While this is just a static number, doesn't tell you much of a story, this does. This is pre-COVID. Just before COVID hit, from the month of January through the busy season, we actually started seeing an increase in inventory. Now, I think part of this is because, I know part of this is because there was a lot of people not sure what was going to happen with COVID, so the market just stopped for a little while. By that summertime, then people realized that it wasn't going to be the end of the world, and they started buying homes, and their buying habits changed. And kind of at the height of it, we were measuring months of inventory in days. And then we came out of COVID, and you can see what's interesting, January. Coming out of the summer months, the fall tends to be a little bit slower in sales, so the inventories will increase. And most likely, again, can't tell the future, but most likely as busy season hits, we'll start coming down in inventory again. Days on the market, another good indicator of what's going on in the market. Again, the number of days it takes for a home to go under contract. We're hovering around 45, 50 days, and then all of a sudden COVID hits, and we're around 10 days average of a home being on the market. And then we're back up to this 45, 50 days. And we've been you can see that's actually ticking up slightly here. So the market, when I average things out, this is a trend line, tend to be ticking up. Pricing should be inverse to this graph. In other words, as inventory decreases, the price of the homes increase. And this is kind of at the height of COVID. We had an instant correction after COVID over that year. And since then, home prices have been slightly ticking down here in the villages. On average, they're ticking down. And what I'm seeing is that the homes that are in the middle, like the designers, from 1,600 square feet up to maybe about 2,000 square feet, those have actually ticked down a little bit harder than this average. The homes that are like two patio villas and courtyard villas, those have remained fairly flat. And then the homes with a view and pool and things like that continue to increase. So overall, the average is fairly flat. But depending on where you are in the market, if you're at the high end of the market, then home prices continue to increase. I alluded to this in the introductory slide, is that there was a huge disconnect with the sellers and reality. Here is selling price. And as we said with COVID, it went up and has been slowly coming down ever since. The sellers were continuing to put higher and higher prices on, even though prices have flattened out. Buyers were seeing these price decreases down to where homes were actually selling and thinking that this was happening, when in reality they were just coming closer to this. Now, the good news is this, is that a lot of the sellers are starting to get the memo and are starting to put more realistic price. So they're starting to make their asking prices as still a little bit high, to add a little bit of room to negotiate. But the asking prices finally have caught up, and we're starting to see a little bit of decrease in asking prices in the designer level, as well as patio courtyard villas. At the higher end, we're still seeing some aggressive pricing by sellers at the higher end. All right, number of sales, and this is another indication of how strong the market is. And you can see here, COVID, and then we've been slowly decreasing, since then. So the number of sales has declined. And again, I did this on my last video, and I haven't done it now, where I would take the average number of home sales by month over the last 10 years. And again, in the fall, you will see a decrease in the number of homes being sold. And during busy season, they do tick up quite a bit. The number of buyers is down right now. Now, I think there's a lot of moving parts of the villages. It is a big city, and they're building new homes. And the new home pricing is getting very aggressive, and we are seeing a lot of buyers look in the newer sections of the villages. We're also seeing a lot of buyers turning around and selling their homes very quickly, mainly because there's not much down in the newer section, and people are having to hop in their cars for 40 minutes to go get milk. But on the MLS, we have seen probably the number of buyers is down. I'm typically got 3 or 4 buyers in town each week, and right now I'm probably averaging 1 or 2 buyers per week in town. So the number of buyers is down right now. Now, I've heard it over and over again, waiting till after the election, waiting for interest rates to come down. The good news is interest rates are starting to tick down, and the election is over. Now for an easy topic. The National Association of Realtors lawsuit. Now, it wasn't the DOJ that brought a lawsuit against the National Association of Realtors. They got involved after another class action suit was lost by the National Association of Realtors. DOJ gets involved, and their goal in this whole thing was to have buyers pay their commission up front and sellers pay their commission when they sell the home. what the DOJ wanted accomplishes nothing in the long run. And what I mean by that is, this isn't exactly true. It's, up front, does the buyer pay commission? Well, they kind of do. They're the one bringing the money to the table, but it comes out of the seller's proceeds. It's kind of a shared cost anyway. Again, when you bought the house, you didn't pay any commission, but that's not 100% true. But then you turn around and sell the house and you're going to pay the buyer and the seller commission. When you own this home, you paid both sides of the commission. The new and improved way is buyer pays the commission up front. When you sell the house, you pay the seller commission on the back. When you bought and sold the house, you paid both sides of the commission. So in general, it's just a shuffle of money as to when money is brought to the table and by who. So it really didn't accomplish anything. The punchline in this whole thing is that it's been business as usual, because they didn't come out and said that the buyers have to pay a commission, and they didn't come out and say that the sellers don't have to pay a commission. The two rules that came out were, before I show a buyer a house, I have to have you under an exclusive agent contract before I show you any home. The contract is set up something like, you'll pay me this much in commission. This is what I'm guaranteed as a buyer's agent. If the seller's offering this much, then the buyer only has to pay the difference. And that's what we're seeing right now. Now, what I'm doing personally is I'm signing up my buyers for this much commission, because I know that pretty much every seller is still offering a commission, and the commission that I pick here is a lot less than what I pretty much know that the sellers are going to be offering. So again, it's been pretty much business as usual. The second rule is that we can no longer advertise the buyer agent commission on the MLS. And then there's 15 rules on how to stop us from getting around that, when it's as simple as, I set up an appointment, I text the agent, say, what's the buyer side commission? They text back X, and I go, great. Then I go show the house. So 2 rules: I now have to have a buyer under exclusive agent contract, and I can no longer advertise the commission. I said earlier that I'm not going to beat a dead horse on this. I probably am going to put out another video that is going to go into detail of this, in case people want to know what all the details are, why the lawsuit was brought, why it kind of does make sense on face value, but then doesn't make sense when you just dig in one layer deep, and then what the ramifications have been. So again, the ramifications have been pretty much the sellers are still offering a buyer agent commission. It's just become more complicated on the back end for the agents, a lot more paperwork involved, other than that, to change nothing. All right, so let's get to the summary here. Like we talked about, interest rates have kind of stabilized for right now. We're past the election, but we're now entering into the slow season, which is pretty much between the holidays here. After the holidays, we should see the business pick back up, hopefully, with, again, a little bit lower interest rates. We're past the election and past the holidays. Homes that need updating are staying in the market much longer. Higher end homes continue to increase in price. Middle of the line homes size-wise are coming down. And then the villas have come down already, but now they're pretty flat. So really what's keeping that average ticking down slightly is that middle of the market, for some reason, continues to decrease a little bit. Sellers have gotten the memo. In other words, we're starting to see more realistic asking prices closer to what the sales price was going to be anyway. And now that the National Association of Realtors lawsuit is behind us, or we know what the ramifications are, there isn't as much angst in the market as there was before. Well, that's it. Like I said earlier, I'm going to try to do some more videos. I've just been very busy, and I need big chunks of time during the day to do these due to lighting issues, all the little things you gotta worry about. But in general, again, if you'd like a copy of my free 42-page guide, Buying and Selling a Home in the Villages, you can email me right here at davemontysales@gmail.com. You can also email me right here for my nifty cost of living calculator / budgeting tool. I hope you found this video informative. I hope to see you around the Villages. Take care.